More odd jobs to do. So the next one, I've got a problem that I've only noticed since I moved here. Now, I could have probably noticed it if I'd looked a bit harder. About probably 6 months or so before we moved, I noticed the brake fluid level had dropped, and I had a look around. I couldn't find where it was going. The wheel cylinders were all good. Couldn't find any leaks on any pipe joins or anything. So since moving here, the car spent 2 or 3 weeks sat in the garage, didn't move anywhere, and when I moved it, there was a small blob of brake fluid, probably 5p piece size, on the floor under the front subframe on the driver's side. So I'm going to have a look round there now, see if I can see where the leak's coming from, and fix it. I think it'll probably be a poorly made pipe end that I've done in the past, so if it is, I can rectify that and put it right. So I'm going to bring the camera down here now and we'll have a little look, see what we can see, take some stuff off out of the way. So this is the area round here that I want to concentrate on. First getting down here and looking, I've noticed the paint on the subframe is lifting. It's all peeling down there under where there's the brake pedal switch, the brake light switch, and the T-piece that goes to this side and around to that side. So I'm going to take the horns off, see if I can see a little bit better because they're in the way a bit. Disconnect these, plug for the brake light switch, and see what I can see down there. GoPro is probably the best tool for this job, but you can see along that edge the paint's all bubbled and I can just flake it off, which obviously isn't good for the longevity of my subframe. You can see down there it's all peeling as well. So this horn thing's just held on with this one bolt that goes through the brace bar, so I'll get that off out of the way and see what we can see. So I've took the horns off out of the way and I've disconnected the brake light switch, but I thought that maybe that's dry. It all seems quite dry around this area, there's nothing immediately wet. So I think I'm just going to have to strip it apart and have a real good look at all the bits and pieces. It needs to come apart anyway, so I can clean up and repaint that side of the subframe, because the paint, even back here, it looks like the brake fluid soaked up into it. I think I've found the culprit to the leak. This pipe is the pipe that runs from the T-piece. You've got the master cylinder goes down to a T-piece into this pipe. It goes this way to supply the front brakes and the other way to supply the rear brakes. Now these unions that I've used on this pipe, let me just come in a bit closer, hopefully you can see that. I've used the wrong type of union on that pipe. It should have a shoulder on it, which means this flange of the nut will touch the body of the T-piece or the bit for the front wheel before that gets bottomed out and compressed. The other end was okay, that's been compressed. Won't focus on it, but that end hasn't. So the unions that I should get are the same thread as this, but they have a little shoulder on there which allows it to screw in and press the copper tightly into the fitting so that it seals. So it's my mistake. The other side of the union, the fitting as well that feeds the passenger side front brake, also has the wrong union on, although that one's not shown any leaks. So I'm going to replace that pipe as well. I've got some brake pipe and I've got some unions somewhere. I just need to find them before I can make some new pipes and put them on the car. I've just removed the other brake pipe from the car, the one that goes from the driver's side to the passenger side front wheel, and you can see on this end of that one it's got the union with a little collar on it so that it pushes the copper in to seal properly. that's the correct union to use. I don't know why I used the incorrect one. It's just one of those things. So I'm going to replace those two pipes with some brand new pipe and some brand new unions. I'm going to fetch off the brake pressure switch, brake light switch, and the bits of pipe down there, so I can clean up that bit of the subframe. I can't carry on with fixing the brake fluid leak because I haven't got the parts. So another job I've got on the list is to pull the clutch off, have a look. I've got another clutch plate to put in, and while I've got this end taken apart, I can do that. Front end's off, so it makes it quite an easy job. Now I've got it all stripped, got the cover off, we're on to the fun part that makes everybody laugh. I'm going to find the right socket to go on there, and we'll see how easy or hard this flywheel is to remove. Well, that made me fall over. Well, I started this section and forgot to turn the microphone on or something because there was no audio. So I took the clutch out. As you can see, I've got it on the bench, got it stripped apart. The friction plate wasn't too badly worn, but I don't know if you can see the slight sheen on it. There was a little bit of oil contamination. So I'm going to change the rear crank seal because that's the only place the oil can come from. I've got a new friction plate to go in. I've only got the friction plate because when I put the engine together, the clutch looked practically brand new, and you can see on that friction plate there's not a great deal of wear on there. So I'm going to clean up all the oil residue off the flywheel and the pressure plate, put a new oil seal in and put that all back together. But obviously I haven't got the parts at the moment, so I'm just going to have to clean it all up for now, and then I'll have to reassemble it in a later video when I've got the parts. I'm going to stick an order in with Mini Spares, I think, because they've got all the bits I need in stock. I'm going to have a new clutch plunger, clutch arm, the clevis pins that go with them, and the rear crank oil seal. So the clutch should feel a lot better after I've done all this work. Right, I've successfully flattened the battery on the DSLR, so we're on the GoPro now. With the wok or woke, whatever you like to call it, with the wok out of the way, I can get better access to this area, and you can see the damage that's been done by the brake fluid. So I'm going to get in there with something to scrape some of the bad paint off and try and clean that up as best I can, and I'll have to grab me paint and repaint it. I think that's enough mess made for one day. I've given it a good scrub with some soapy water, and then cleaned it off with brake cleaner. I think I've got rid of just about all of the brake fluid residue. A bit of surface rust there. I've knocked off anything loose, so I just need to find my tin of black Hammerite and touch that up. I think really where it's run right down the back there, I could do with pulling the subframe out and repainting it all, but for now that'll have to do. At least it'll give it a bit of protection before I rebuild the brakes. So the DSLR went flat, GoPro went flat, so it's time to call it a night. Everywhere's a mess. I'm going to have a tidy up, and tomorrow I'll go and grab my paint, my brake pipe and my unions. I've got all of them, they're just in my storage lockup. So that's it for this one. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you again very soon when I start putting some of this lot back together.